When I first started, I wanted to do such a good job. You want to be the inspiration, the life-changing teacher that you're going to make change every student's life, and you're going to be the most amazing influence on each of these kids. There's so much that you don't learn about, like just how schools work. We don't use textbooks, so it's almost an entirely teacher-created curriculum. So almost everything that we did had to be created by me, and since I had none of it created, that first year was just ridiculous amounts of work. I used to think that it was that whole, I'm going to change the world. It's just little victories. You help someone do something and they're excited about it, or you do that. I mean, those are like the rewarding parts of the job for me, that are fun. I feel like the way that the class size affects the students' learning is just the amount of individual attention I'm able to give students. The kids that most need a small class size are at-risk kids. And at-risk kids are kids that live in poverty, kids in urban settings, and minority children that specifically need a smaller teacher-to-student ratio, and that's exactly where we're at. The current mode is to kind of treat it kind of like a business, and it's so far from that we're not really, our schools aren't a business, and kids aren't these commodities that you can work. And so with students, you have to look at, there's so many different facets to it, and so many unknowns and so many different pieces of the puzzle that it's just not, you can't fix it with a policy decision. Doesn't seem to be able to fix it. They released a list of 200 schools at first that were on the list to be closed or to consider. And I think we were considered at about 74% at capacity, and so that was below the cutoff and so we were considered under-enrolled. We were on the closing list. We had to go and beg for our school. So that last year, I mean, it was humiliating and also just shocking that you'd have to do it. School is such a key to a community, to having that. That's where you meet your neighbors. That's where families get to know each other. That's where you have that common thing. And to take it out of a neighborhood, it seems just like kind of a rough thing to do. I think that the only way to make it better is for people to stay in it. If we all left when it got tough, public education would be gone. And I like that fight. It's something that it does give my job some more meaning than just educating kids, is that I'm also fighting to make sure that it stays a quality education. I love my kids in Chicago. I love the diversity that I get in Chicago. I like the fact that in my classroom that the kids are not the same. I've got kids of all different socioeconomic levels. I've got kids of all different races. I've got kids of all different backgrounds. And it's challenging, but it's part of what I love about Chicago, and it's part of what's reflected in my classroom. I think the public school is a crucial thing for any society to have. Students, kids deserve the right to have a quality education.